Hi there. I am 59 years old today, and that fills me with dismay. But birthdays in general are not something I don't think Gnostics really look forward to because, we've only been born into all this in order to feed the demiurge. But I suppose, people say about learning, this is a kind of university of life to learn from. So what have I learned? And I think that question can be asked as cynically as you like, really. But the first thing I think I've learned is that obsessive love repels and obsessive hatred attracts. I think there must be some sort of balance necessary in this universe, dynamic equilibrium for some reason. Anything that is obsessive as it's strong does the opposite of what you think it will do. I don't know. That's just what I've observed anyway. Um, Talking of emotions, of course, the second thing is the realization that demiurge feeds off, obviously feeds off negative emotions, but also positive emotions as well. Feeds off them. But if you don't have any emotions at all, then you get depressed about that, and that's also a source of food for the demiurge. So he's in a win-win situation over this. So emotions or no emotions, it's all the same to the demiurge, and we are cannon fodder for the demiurge, whatever we do or don't do. However, I think that. Generally speaking, the minimum amount you can do in life is very, you know, um, is probably the best thing to do. However, the urge to do something is so ingrained in the biology of the sentient being that it's impossible not to do things. And the other thing I sort of remember, or sort of not remember, but kind of understand now, as I didn't before, is this thing about looking ahead and looking backwards. We have the choice to look backwards, but that is a source of regret. And yet to look forwards is, as I found, a great source of stress. I found this really, really greatly the past couple of years is that you look forward to things, and that is, and then the stress is worse than the regret. So the best thing to do, of course, is as the alcoholics do, is to take every day as it comes. Live each day as if it's your last, because it is, in a sense. It is your last day. It's your first day and your last day. It is the alpha and omega each day as it comes. So one day at a time, which sounds like a sort of snail going towards its doom. Really, one day at a time, kind of, heading towards the boot that will crush it. But that's sort of power for the course. Really, that's existence again. And the other thing I've learned is money. Money is all that matters in this world. Ever since money was invented, um, you know, you have to have money to do anything. And if you do anything, it costs money. So money is the absolute necessity, and you've got to have an income which exceeds expenditure, obviously. Although nowadays that obvious thing has been lost for decades now, really. And simply the value of money is so appallingly bad now. Is that really money doesn't get you anything? I mean, £1 million, like they say, win $1 million or win £1 million or €1 million, and really it's got to be multi-millions before you can start doing anything. But of course, when you start doing things, time is eating into you, and what you do causes more problems than it does solve problems. So money can cause more problems than it solves, and yet money is also necessary, to do anything. And accumulating money is a great feeling. Sort of squirreling away, your nuts in the winter is a great feeling to have. And when your nuts are not there, when you go to find them in the cupboard, then you get stressed. Um, and when you can see that also you haven't got enough for the winter, then that's a bit distressing as well. But I suppose so you live from day to day, and you have no ambition. But then you get depressed because you don't have any ambition. And then finally, the thing I've learned is that life is just one massive contradiction, or series of contradictions, or layers of contradiction. And basically the whole thing is utter tripe, superficiality, and contradiction rule. They reign over us. They are the lord of contradiction and the lord of superficiality, and the lord of stones that are around our neck and around our feet as we're thrown into the Tiber, the great river of life, only to sink slowly into the abyss. So these are the things that I've learned over 59 years of existence. Although I suppose I didn't really start realizing these things really until I was 9. So I've really spent the last 50 years honing my powers of observation, and this is what I observe about existence. And so with sort of the 50th year, I suppose, of doing this observing, and concluding that this existence is a complete waste of time. But you see, the thing about it is you keep coming back for more, because it's all so clever. I mean, it may be a waste of time, but it's a very clever waste of time. It's a very clever sort of arrangement that exists over space and time and dimension. And I suppose that is a wondrous thing, the cleverness of it all. But there is no wisdom in it. There is just foolishness. Existence is a foolhardy occupation, activity, if you like. And the only way is to get out of here. Armageddon, out of here. as I think it was George Bush said, or allegedly said anyway, Armageddon, out of here. One tries one's best, but certainly if you try to get out of here into another dimension, it's the same dimension. It's a reflection of the same dimension that comprises this one. Well, that is this one. So there is no way out apart from total transcendental process. Transcendence is the only absolute way out of here without getting snagged on anything. And that's what basically the whole point of existence is, really, is to get out of existence. So life is a preparation for death, really. And everything that you do is a preparation for the best death that you can possibly have. Because, it's certainly that's more meaningful than life. Death is more meaningful than life. And, sometimes people get angry with this. Some philosophers and mystics get angry and they start shouting about the existence is all pure joy, and what are you complaining about? And life is for the strong, and fortune favors the brave, and all this sort of talk of death will not be tolerated, and we should think of life and abundance and fertility and acquisition, and be the Ferengi of this universe, rather than the sort of guilt conscious ridden Federation. These are, of course, references to Star Trek, because I'm a Trekkie. Because, of course, space, again, if we could, go beyond the speed of light and explore space, I think that would be a pretty fascinating thing. but it would still be the same dimension no matter how far you go across the galaxy. It's the same galaxy. It's all the same stuff applies, the contradiction and the superficiality. So we're ending up playing computer games like No Man's World until the end of the world, which apparently is not far away because the global warming is going to finish us off anyway. Apparently, I'm not quite sure how it's going to, but it's apparently going to finish us all off. And then so we must prepare for the end times more than we prepared for beginnings. So endings are better than beginnings. And as long as you keep that in mind, you won't go far wrong. So these are my words of wisdom after 50 years of observation of existence and life on this dimension. And I'm sorry if it's not a great sort of joyous revelation. You take each day as it comes, and there's joy to be had on a temporary basis, I suppose. We just go from 1 minute of joy from another if we can find it. But mostly it's going from one moment of pain to another moment of pain until there is no more pain because you're dead. And that's my conclusion after 50 years of observation of this dimension.